If your prospects understand every number that you put on a financial plan or proposal and they're still not going to buy, you don't have a math or a logic problem. But as financial professionals, we tend to focus on numbers. We show clients projections, rates of return, tax savings, income calculations. We show them these Monte Carlo simulations, and it can be super confusing for the client. You see, we believe that if the numbers make enough sense, that the client is going to make some sort of change and buy. But that's not actually how things work. And that's not how people make decisions. You see, people don't buy potential numbers on a plan. They buy something else, something much more important, and that's what I want to talk about today. It's called status. So my name is Kevin Newber, and I help financial advisors grow their business by helping them scale and grow. And today, I want to talk about something that I learned from a book called Expert Secrets. This is where Russell Brunson, he makes this really provocative argument, and it stuck with me. And that is that one of the strongest forces behind whether a buyer says yes or does nothing at all is status. Now, when I say status, it's not just talking about like expensive cars or designer clothes or stuff to impress friends and neighbors. That's not totally what I mean. It's sort of what I mean. But status is something that's also internal. It's something that they feel inside. If a client chooses to work with you, they are not just risking their money, okay? They are risking their status. If they lose money and working with you turns out to be a really bad decision, they have to go explain to their spouse, they have to explain to their friends, they have to explain to their family, they have to explain to their neighbors what happened to them. A bad decision, that lowers their status. And for many people, having a lower status amongst peers is just as scary as losing money in the market. On the other hand though, if you make them money and you're the one that's increasing their status, then that's a good thing. Now they can go buy more stuff. They can have more nice things, and then they can flaunt it and they can show it off to their peers. You see, the key to the sale isn't always the numbers, it's their status. So you think the clients are taking risk with their money, but what they're really risking, again, is that status. And because status is so important, you might even say that it's their most valuable asset. So knowing this, how should a person change their sales process in order to accommodate this idea of their status? So first is you have to be super careful pointing out what the client's done wrong, okay? If your presentation or your process shows them how foolish or irresponsible or how behind they are, they're going to defend that. Like they're going to defend that decision just like they're going to defend their status, even if they know that their decisions were wrong. You can acknowledge what they've already accomplished by showing them the opportunity to improve it. So the second thing is that you need to identify the status that they actually want to try to achieve and then help them move towards that status. Don't ask them how much income do you want in retirement? Ask them, what would this income allow you to feel, to achieve, or how would it make you feel, or who would it make you become? Maybe they want to feel like a person who take care of their family or help their community. Maybe they want to be there for their grandchildren because they feel like they let their own kids down as a parent, right? Think about that. If you show them what their new status will look like, then the buyer will naturally move towards the status increase and ultimately buy whatever you're selling. And the third and last thing is you have to reduce the fear of losing status. If a client perceives that buying from you is going to decrease their status or risk that in any way, they're not going to make the purchase, okay? So therefore, what you have to do is you have to show them that you've built guardrails or some sort of safety mechanisms and you put them in place in order to protect their status. And you can show them successful outcomes of other people who are just like them, who have seen increases in status. The sales process should be viewed as a series of steps designed to decrease the different risks that a client can face that would threaten their status. And fourth, you have to give them the ammunition that they need to defend their status. There's a common adage in this industry that people buy with emotions, but then they justify with logic. But nobody actually tells you why people justify with logic. Think about this for a second. You need to give client the ammunition that they need in order to justify to their peers why they made the right choice. If they cannot defend their decision, then they risk lowering the status. That is really why they need the information that they're asking you for. So before your next client meeting, look at the presentation that you're giving and ask yourself, am I only showing this person better numbers? Or am I showing them how this decision helps them become the person that they want to become? The numbers still matter. They help clients validate the decision that they're about to make, but the numbers alone rarely create change. If you want to convert more sales, stop focusing exclusively on a spreadsheet, understand the client's status, understand what they want to gain and what they're afraid of losing, and position your process as the bridge between the two and give them the data that they need to defend their decision. Because people don't just buy a financial strategy, they buy and they move towards a better version of themselves.